So this is a look at the final sheet that I'm expecting you to produce for submittal, or some version of this with this kind of content. And I'll go through a little of the elements that I put in. I made up this is all on a sheet, and I'll show you how I created that sheet in a minute. I didn't mean to move that. Hold on just a second while I go through that save. So anyway, this is a sun path diagram. Shows the building, indicates to the viewer where the light setting is that's happening on the building at that time. It's labeled as a sun path. You can actually see times, the day or the month of the year, and the orientation of the building. And if I was to show you that actual drawing, I would show you how to put the lights on here first. Sun path on, sun path off, so that disappears. The setting is to put the sun path on. And then visually, one of the important things to do is to make sure that the ring, the directions here, they fit the scale of the building. And one of the ways you can adjust that is this sun path size. It may default at 100%, but it may be actually set at something else. And you can see that you can adjust that to encircle your project more tightly. So let's go back to the sheet and look at what else I put on. I wanted to indicate where these views were coming from in the building, so I made a little diagram which is it's actually a snip of the scene, and I've selected the view box on one of the views, and then when you go to the floor plan or one of the level plans, the camera will show up. And I just took a snip of that and then pasted it in. Gives the reader of this document an idea of the location of the camera for that scene that we've set up. And there's also a north arrow to reinforce the idea that this is a south-facing elevation. The products that I produced of my test are to make 3 variations in the window opening, from a very high transom, almost like window, to a slit window, to a very large full opening window. And then I've done associated illuminance renderings with that, adjusting as I've described. And then I did an up-close rendering of that scene also with the adjustments in light. I'm a little disappointed in the way that Revit in the in-house or the in-model renderer deals with secondary reflections of light, ambient light that's bouncing off of other surfaces. But this is a good first test to set up and think about lighting. We could always export our model to higher quality renderings, and also practice with seeing if there's advantages to doing cloud rendering as far as the quality of the rendering. As far as the whole sheet goes, I've created a custom sheet. If I was to double click on this, it'll open up the editing of that. And if I zoom out here, it's opening up a new sheet. I would have gone to, when I had done this originally, new title block, and I would have had the new sheet size that I opened, and that allows us to adjust it. And I adjusted it to 48 inches by 27 inches, which is a 16:9 aspect ratio. The idea there is to fit the size, the aspect ratio of a computer monitor, so this could actually be presented as a full frame slide without any cropping. And I've changed the size of the text and the color of the text. I put my name on it. This is a generic title block we could use all the way through our projects in this course. And loaded that then into the project, and I won't do that now. But then I've added, in this one, I've changed the size of text for a graphic style also, so I could put a title block on. Now these are informative documents, but they're not technical, like construction documents. So there's no title block or project name or anything, unless that would be required. This is basically just an analysis and a presentation of information kind of internally within the organization, or maybe a project presentation to a client. But this gives a general overview of what I would like to see for that submittal. And I would output this probably 4,000 pixels. I just ran a test. Let me see if I can find that. ran an output. I'll draw that over here. Here's a JPEG. Let's see what it says. I outputted it at 6,000 by pixels wide. So that gave a file that's under a megabyte. And if we were to go ahead and open this and zoom in, we get an idea of the level of quality. And I see high is spelled wrong. But that's sufficient for this submittal quality. And you'll notice if I went, I think I could go full screen here, and you'll notice how that fits on the screen completely without any kind of cropping. So it's a nice way to understand that what your sheet size is will work as a PowerPoint presentation or some other full screen presentation you might have the potential for.